Hey, I'm on the edge of my seat here, back again with another brand new video, and today I will be no damaging all the boss fights in the Big Swell DLC for Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. However, this Island Bruiser on screen right now is not part of that DLC. However, I will be including him in this video because this will be a continuation of my Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth Legend No Damage All Bosses Like No Commentary and Commentary video. In that video, I only no damaged the main story boss fights and forgot to include optional encounters like this Robo Michio super boss. This is actually a video I uploaded before on the channel. I was kind of like hyping up my Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth no damage video, so I kind of uploaded like a few battles by themselves. And this is one of them because I could have sworn this one was impossible. And I struggled a lot with coming up with a strategy for this one. It's basically like you have to deal as much damage as possible and also take advantage of the fact that he's weak to water. But like no matter what I do have to avoid like 3 to 4 of his attacks. Like this one, for example. And that one I got really lucky with, like Ichiban. His evasion stats actually kicked in and he actually dodged it. This game nerfed evasion so much. Like by the end of this video, I actually leveled up to like level 99. And even at level 99, your evasion is shit. Like, you cannot really rely on it like that. You're better off like applying other strategies or using the Sea King's Talisman, which I do have equipped on most of my party here because I need to have it equipped. Because without it, this fight is impossible with the level I'm at in this specific battle. But yeah, no, while I was making my previous video, I decided to only focus on the main story boss fights so I can release that video sooner, and also if I did not limit it to only the main story boss fights, that video would be over 3 hours long, because look how long this video is. This video is nearly an hour long, which is good for some optional objectives, but if I included all of this in the main video would be 4 hours long, and I'm sure people would watch it, but I decided to be a little more concise and leave it at 3 hours, which still makes it the longest Yakuza no damage video I've ever made. But now, I think I'm getting a little bit off topic here. But this video will be covering all the super bosses, well, all the main super bosses in the Hawaiian Haunt, the Yokohama Underground, though I'm not sure if that's what it's called, it might have another name, but basically, I will be doing Robo Michios, which will be right after this fight. Then I'll be doing all the boss fights in the Big Swell, and by all the boss fights, I of course mean that it's split up into like 5 sections, and each section is 5 floors. Once you reach the bottom 5th floor, you fight a boss. Those are the bosses I will be no damaging. And yes, they are all possible because they are all in this video. And the great thing about Yakuza 8 is that unlike Yakuza 7, these are all done by legal means. And what does legal means mean? Well, basically in Yakuza 7, there was like a few fights which were basically impossible to do on Legend by like, you know, human means. Like, you kind of reach a certain point where the boss fights get so high level in the Legend mode of Yakuza 7 that your agility stat needs to be like 999 or you will not dodge any of the attacks. And pretty much upgrading everyone to like level 99 and upgrading all their jobs to level 99 in Yakuza 7, they will never reach like agility 999. So in my original Yakuza 7 no damage video, I pretty much just stuck to doing them on hard, and most of those fights could be done on hard, except for one boss fight I literally had to go down to normal because like hard was still like too hard for them. However, Yakuza 8, all of these can be done on Legend, and all of them can be done on Legend by upgrading all your characters to level 99 and almost all the jobs to level 99. That's the fun thing about this no damage. I actually didn't upgrade every single job to level 99. There's like so much aren't fully upgraded, though. For some characters, they do have a good chunk of their like jobs upgraded, which just kind of brings into notice, I'm actually wondering, does upgrading jobs in this game like actually boost your stats by that much? Because I swear I barely felt a difference while going through the game, but you know, I kind of made my way through. But now we are fighting all the Robo Michios, and the fun thing about fighting all the Robo Michios is that I'm going to completely annihilate them. Like, I was expecting this fight to be a lot harder, and, well, if I fought them while under-leveled, it would be a lot harder, but I had a lot more trouble fighting, like, the singular Robo Michio just because I was, like, under-leveled and I didn't have the best party or setup. While here, I have infinite money, I have, like, everyone at nearly max level, and I'm just ready to deal damage to him. Like, I'm just going to kill all of them with my friendship moves. And I believe that before I entered this fight, I went to a restaurant to pretty much get like an attack boost, just so that I can summon the hostesses to pretty much give me an attack boost, just so I can have max attack for a good number of turns. And since like the maximum number of attack boosts you can get from a restaurant is 2, doing this once gets you the max 3, and well, that pretty much works itself out. Also, if you are achievement hunting in this game, you should know that, you know, on New Game Plus, you can actually switch difficulties on the fly. Also, this game has a feature where when you fight a group of enemies that are super underleveled, you can pretty much go fight them and press a button to instantly kill them. And I believe this is something which I forgot to bring up in the main video. Like, the main video is nearly 3 hours long, and I forgot to bring up a feature that I'm a really big fan of. This game isn't the first to do it. I think Persona 5 had something like similar. Yes, we will be comparing all JRPGs to Persona 5, but anyways, it's a really great feature. You know, you just go beat up a random group of enemies, you just press a button, and boom, he just instantly kills them. And this also applies to like the underground dungeons. Like, you know, if you're just rerunning areas where the enemies are like significantly underleveled, you can just go into those rooms and annihilate them. The only weak enemies that you can't instantly annihilate are like the mini bosses, the ones with the crowns over their heads. If you fight a mini boss with a crown over his head and he has like and he's weak, he has like a blue icon over his head, you can't instantly kill them. They'll just be super weak because, you know, they're super underleveled compared to you. However, I ran into like a funny little quirk while switching difficulties on the fly. Basically, if you change the difficulty settings while in the open world, enemies will still have the weak blue sign over their head if you raise the difficulty from like a lower difficulty. Like, say you're exploring the world on like normal difficulty and there's a bunch of weak enemies around you because, you know, you're on normal difficulty, so that's like the lowest level the enemies will be at in any experience of the game. But then while walking in the world, you just decide, you know what, let's just switch to legend. The enemies will still have that blue icon over their head until you fight one of them or like teleport somewhere else, because the game is not going to like change that icon on the fly. Something needs to kind of like interrupt it for the game to kind of like auto-correct itself. So, you know, just like be warned, if you're switching from like normal to legend difficulty and you see like a bunch of blue enemies, they might not be blue. They might be like way over leveled like compared to you. Oh yeah, and the sad thing about playing on legend difficulty is that when I'm exploring like the dungeons, like the final floors of the dungeon, you will never get to such a high level that you will be able to instantly decimate the enemies on like the lowest or say highest levels of the dungeon, because like the highest level someone can reach in like the lowest level, the Hawaiian Haunt, is like level 95, and the highest level you can reach is level 99. So you're never ever going to see like a blue weak enemy sign over their heads while playing on legend, sadly. You're gonna have to lower the difficulty to like hard or normal. As for whether you can do that while in the middle of a level, I don't think you can, but also I have not tested it. I've just kind of been doing it in the open world, and frankly, for over 100 hours, I never used this feature. However, I mentioned achievements because one of the achievements in this game, well, 2 of the achievements, if you have the DLC for New Game Plus, is pretty much beating the hard difficulty and the legend difficulty. However, if you beat the legend difficulty, you don't get the achievement for the hard difficulty. The Yakuza games are very inconsistent with these achievements, because some games, when you beat it on legend, you'll automatically unlock the hard like achievement, you know, beating it on hard, because beating it on legend is basically the same as beating it on hard. That does not happen in Yakuza 5, and it does not happen in this one. However, there's an easy cheat for this. Basically, just have a save file like right before the final boss of this game, and then, like, you know, when you fight the final boss, see, boom, I had to use a perfect guard for that attack specifically, so I still had to use the Sea King's talismans for this fight. So it wasn't 100% easy, but it was definitely easier than the previous time, because the previous time I had to use that attack like 3 to 4 times. I had to like dodge attacks like 3 to 4 times, while there, that was only the real big attack I had to dodge. But yeah, no, for Yakuza 8, pretty much just switch to hard difficulty if you already beat it on normal and legend, and pretty much just get your achievements that way. You don't have to do an entire playthrough. However, if you're just doing New Game, I don't think you can change difficulties while playing on New Game, and I definitely don't think you can change difficulties if you sadly didn't buy the DLC. Yes, I will have to repeat my point, though. However, I will not repeat it as loud as before. I've already done that in the previous video. If you want to hear me loudly exclaim why I think locking New Game Plus behind DLC is very evil, watch my main video if you haven't already. The video is doing really well. I like that a lot. Why do they zoom in on that? Oh, it's because she has a necklace. Okay, she has a necklace. Don't forget that. But yeah, no, moving on. The big Swell, once again, is this DLC that you can't access unless you have the DLC. And that's just such a shame, because really the game feels naked without it. because I don't know, you just kind of get to a certain point on normal where, you know, you just kind of done everything, you haven't hit max level yet, and it's because like the DLC has all the modes where you would do that sort of stuff, you know, like reach level 99, you know, fight harder enemies. Though even on Legend, even with the big swell, there really isn't that great of a challenge per se. Definitely not compared to Yakuza 7, because Yakuza 7 had like the true Millennium Tower, and that shit was fucking unbearable. Like, it was obnoxiously hard and drawn out and long. And yes, it would be more fun in this game just because the combat is more fun and there's like more options. So like, I mean, I'm kind of mixed on that. Okay, one, there's no true Millennium Tower in this game. There's nothing on the scale of it in terms of difficulty. But two, there's nothing on the scale of I want to fucking kill the developers, you know? Oh wait, I don't want to say the kill word so soon in the video. It's 10 minutes. I think if you say it in the first 8 minutes, you get demonetized, but in 10 minutes, it's fine. And here, the actual first boss fight of the big swell, it's 3 different Sawashiros. And this is sick. I love this because Sawashiro has like a bunch of different phases in like his main fight in the main story. But here, boom, they just kind of separated them into like different parts. It is also continuing the little gimmick which Yakuza 7 did with its Joe Amon fight, where basically Joe Amon just summons like very colorful versions of Kiryu, Majima, and Saejima for his fight. However, the one thing is, these popsicle people are nowhere near as hard in 8 as they were in 7. Like, if you saw someone and he was like popsicle colored in like Yakuza 7, he was gonna be a bitch to fight. But in this game, they're not really that hard. Like Joe Sawashiro, I'm going to annihilate him. Though to be fair, I mean, it's not like the main story Sawashiro is very hard either. He's actually surprisingly easy in this game. Maybe just because I'm like way over leveled when I fought him, but like comparing Yakuza 7 Joe Sawashiro to Yakuza 8 Joe Sawashiro, like this one's a lot easier to take down. But that's probably just because like it's easier to take down enemies in general in Yakuza 8. Though it's not like the game never has challenge, because I definitely remember like in the early game, like those mini bosses, like I would actually be scared to like roam around the world because like, you know, I'll encounter one, they'll just like completely demolish me because there's like so many levels above me. So like there's still like a sense of danger in the early game, but once you start hitting like that later mid-game, end-game, and you actually have like a good team set up, you do kind of end up like reaching a point where the game just isn't very hard. And to be fair, I do kind of want to go back to Yakuza 7. I love how big that bottle is. It looks so silly. Like, why did they make her so small? Like, come on. But anyways, Yakuza 7's not a hard game either. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons I liked Yakuza 7 so much, because there was never really a point while playing Yakuza 7 where I had to like actually grind. In the same way I had to grind while playing the hardest difficulties of a game like Persona 3, 4, yeah, like 3, 4, and 5. Like, I played all of those on their hardest difficulties. Well, not 5 technically, because I played the original version of that game, and the hardest difficulty of Persona 5 didn't come out until like a month after the game came out, and it was DLC. So I never actually got to play the Merciless mode, but I did play the hardest difficulties of Persona 3 and 4, and those ones drove me up a fucking wall. I had to grind so much in those games, because like the hardest difficulties lower the amount of XP you get while fighting enemies. I fucking hate that, by the way. Yakuza 7 never had to grind, while playing on normal, mind you. I mean, New Game Plus, like, I mean, if you play those on a new game, it's basically impossible, because, like, the enemies are suited for, like, level 65, level 75, like, you will literally deal, like, nipple damage, and the boss fight will do one attack and you will die. But the point is, on that first playthrough, while playing on normal, I never really had to grind in Yakuza 7, because I pretty much just did a good amount of, like, the side quests. I did the entire, like, Sotenbori Tower, like, once. You know, just like all 30 floors once. I don't really count that as grinding. I just kind of did the whole little Coliseum thing once. I got to fight like unique boss fights and encounters just over and over and over. That gave me enough XP for like the Chapter 12 fight, which was still really hard. However, using the Masochist Man summon, I was able to kind of deal with that by just boosting my defense to like a ridiculous height. And yeah, side quests are just like, that's probably one of my favorite things about Yakuza 7 and Yakuza 8, is like the best summons are hidden behind side quests. And yeah, honestly, I'm pretty sure like that sounds pretty basic for a JRPG. It's just that Yakuza side quests are like on a whole other level of like personality and charm. Like, you know, just doing a goofy quest will actually give you like a useful tool later down the line. Well, I feel like in other games, like some of that stuff might be a little bit busy worky. I mean, it just doesn't feel the same in Yakuza. Like, going the turn-based route is just really smart, because like the gameplay in 7 may have not been the best. I mean, I still had a good amount of fun with like 7's turn-based combat system, but it did feel like slightly unrefined. But mixing that formula with the open world like design of Yakuza, which is like some of my favorite like open world design of like any game, period. It's like one of the reasons why this franchise is so endearing and something I keep coming back to. Yeah, trying to do a physical attack on that yellow Sawashiro was a huge mistake, because that one just like dodges most of the physical attacks you do, so you really do want to avoid that. But I'm just going to summon this guy again to pretty much kill them. I am boosting my magic, just so that I can keep summoning the Don Dokodo beam, just to really take him out. And there's still 2 enemies, so I did need to use that beam. Oh, okay, I actually do something really sick in this fight. Well, this little animation, I guess I'm just going to let it play out. Though I could have sworn I already used this beam, so I don't know why I'm letting the animation play out right now. But I get in a situation where I actually need to dodge one of the attacks. And yes, a good chunk of my party is equipped with the Sea King's Talisman. It's just that I actually need to time it correctly. Also, I probably haven't mentioned this in the previous video, but I love the new colors of the beam, which are just because, you know, you get this beam by doing like the island minigames. Yeah, I perfect guard this attack. I did not know what the timing was. I just kind of guessed it, but it worked. And sadly, like, I mean, yeah, it doesn't deal any damage, but it did deal like those little stat deboosts. Okay, that does not kill him, but he will be dying very shortly. Now, this one does not seem to have as high evasion as the yellow one, so you can do some melee attacks and get away with it. Yeah, no, one regret I do have with the Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth video is that I mostly rely on summons and the cinematic attacks instead of like the really cool melee stuff you have in this game. But then again, like with most of the fights I was doing, I need to kill them before they can do literally anything else, so I need to use like the highest damage outputters in the game. Though with some of the previous fights, I was also a little underleveled in the sense that I was actually matching their level instead of going over their level. Because if I actually go over their level for some of the earlier fights, I can get away with more silly stuff. Like the first Dwight fight, I fought him while I was like nearly the same level as him. But if I return to that fight at like level 99, I could do some really silly stuff with some of the more silly moves in the game. Anyways, this shark, holy shit, this guy was a pain in the ass. Like, let me explain. So, like, I mean, the main story shark you fight, very easy. Honestly, it was very easy to overpower him and just instantly kill him. However, this shark is the exact same fight, except he has a buttload more health. Like, pretty much the way I dealt with this guy in the main game is I kill him before he can do any special moves. However, here, the strategy is the same, except he has a lot more health, so you need to deal a lot more damage. And holy shit, like, I mean, like, I needed to boost my damage to such high numbers that, like, I made sure that every single person in my party here has, like, a weapon. And not only do they have a weapon, but that weapon is, like, maxed out in attack. Like, I actually, like, sold some of my weapons. I sold some of my weapons for materials just to upgrade their weapons. Like, okay, so, like, I got a ninja on my team, right? The Kunoichi class, if that's how you say it. I got an assassin on my team. And I got a tennis player. So I just pretty much like got all those weapons upgraded to the max. And also for this specific fight, only one of my team members has like an item which pretty much nullifies fear, because for the other team members, I pretty much have them boosted in like either evasion, in either agility or attack. Because I really need every little morsel and nipple of damage. So honestly, the beginning of this fight is very RNG in the sense that like I enter this fight and the shark is always going to do that little like commanding fear, I'm gonna roar very loud and you're gonna get scared move, and I have to pray that the only member that's affected by that move is I forgot how to say her name, Purple, Seon-hee. I mean, I forgot how to say her name, the assassin. Yeah, no, like, I mean, she's the only one with the item that like nullifies fear, so I need to pray that that attack only hits her because she can nullify it, while all the other party members, because like every turn counts, every single turn counts. Also, it's in this fight where I decided to start experimenting and decided to do kind of like a bullshitty move, which I thought wouldn't work, but it actually does work. And basically, my entire team is pretty much composed of chicks and Ichiban. The reason for this is because the chicks are the only ones which have access to like the Kunoichi class. I'm not even saying that name correctly, but roll with me here. That class pretty much has the substitution jutsu, and that jutsu pretty much allows them to switch positions with any of the party members. However, if one chick switches with another chick, and that chick also has a substitution jutsu, you can just instantly keep switching forever. However, the benefit of this is that every time they do this move, it charges up their friendship meter. So basically, you can do the friendship attack, which is a super high damage attack, and then you can just keep doing the substitution jutsu to charge up that attack again, and then, you know, once it's finally charged up for everyone, you switch back to Ichiban, and then boom, you get to do it again. So you can spend like basically 3 turns just, you know, I mean, honestly, this is going to take like 28 turns. No, it takes 24 turns to do it once, and I'm going to do this 3 times. Like, I mean, I did it in the beginning because I already had it charged up from before, but now I'm charging it up. It's going to take 24 turns because I'm pretty sure you need to do the substitution jutsu 8 times with each character. So, assassin, goth, tennis player, they need to do the substitution jutsu 8 times. 8 plus 8 plus 8, that is 24. And, you know, this won't be enough to kill him. You know, I'm going to do this move, and then I need to do it again. So that's another 24 times I need to do it. That's like 48 turns, plus the turns I took at the beginning, plus whatever turns I take, like, near the end of this, like, little battle. That's why this battle is, like, nearly 9 to 10 minutes long, even though it really only comprises, like, of 3 to 6 actual attacks. But you need to do this, because, like, this guy has so much health, and I need to kill him before he can do any move, because like honestly there are ways to kind of dodge the move, and honestly there's probably like some ways to dodge even I don't fully understand and haven't fully tested out, but like holy shit, it's just better to like avoid it. And this is pretty much like the way I found to avoid it is like pretty much getting my party members like this amount of attack, this amount of stats, having them at like a certain agility here, and just spamming this move. However, near the end of this video, I was fighting another enemy that was giving me a hard time, and the way I dealt with that enemy honestly might have given me new insight on how to deal with this enemy. But I won't like elaborate on that strategy until we get to that point. Right now, basically, like pretty much, we're going to build up the friendship attack, and then Ichiban, you know, he can do a summon, high damage summon that deals a decent amount of attack. He gets to do the friendship attack, and you need to deal enough damage with this friendship move and the summon in 3 moves that it kills the shark. That is the strategy I'm going with. You need to be really high level, you need to have really high attack. Like, it is a pain in the ass, but it is possible at the very least. I was kind of... So yeah, no, like, this game is challenging me in the same way that Heavy Machine challenged me in Yakuza 7. Because that was another boss fight in Yakuza 7. I actually did do that boss fight legally. I did it on Legend, but it was very hard because I had to, like, pretty much, like, scrape every nipple of damage I could to kill that machine. And the machines in 8 were nowhere near as hard. Thankfully, they were very easy. I did not want to deal with anything too hard, but this is very hard, and I had to do a very bullshit, very boring strategy to kill him, just to make sure that he didn't get a chance to attack me. I will say, though, like, this fight being part of the Big Swell is very boring, just because it's a copy and paste of the shark fight of the final chapter of the game. I don't know. I feel like to charge like money for this DLC dungeon, I'm expecting like more unique fights, but this is just like the same guy, except that his face is a little bit more bloodied up. However, in the Big Swell DLC, there's a little story moment right before you fight this shark where Kiryu is like, oh, what if the shark sings the funny Baka Mitai song and he's like, Sameyo. And the reason he says that is because that is a very specific Japanese pun. It makes no sense when you literally translate it in English. However, the translators have literally just done that. Like, basically, I don't even think they even tried to localize the joke into like something which would make more sense in English. Like, basically, like the song Baka Mitai is this famous karaoke song from the Yakuza series, you know, the one that goes like Dame yo, dame, damo yo. However, Kiryu says if the shark sang it, he would go Same yo, same, same yo. The reason for this is because Same, I believe, is shark in Japanese. That's the whole pun. However, how the fuck do you translate that in English? I mean, it's not like this series is new to translating weird Japanese humor into English. There's a very specific example from Yakuza 0 where it's when you meet the guy who like teaches you the rush style in Yakuza 0. Basically, in Japanese, when you meet him, he does this whole little routine where he's like, I can teach you, you know, how to be good at punching people. But the way he says it, it's like a pun on this like Japanese term for being like a bed wife or something. And Kiryu's like, I don't want to be a bed wife or like a stay-at-home wife, something like that. It's a very weird Japanese word, like wordplay, and it would basically make no sense in English if they literally translated it. So instead, they decided to do a different joke with him. They pretty much just said, hey, I'm the fisting artist. I'm going to fist people because that makes more sense in English. It basically like carries the same weight of the original joke, but like in a way more punchy fashion in English, and that just did not happen here. But also, how the fuck would you, translation is hard, like how the fuck would you communicate the idea of this Japanese pun of the shark singing the funny meme song, which has been memed a lot. Also, while we're on the topic of this meme song, I never mentioned it in the previous video, but this game actually made a sequel to Baka Mitai called like Bakadaro, if that's how you say it. And it's a great sequel, honestly. Like, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's you know, like ripping the meme apart or anything like that. It doesn't feel like exploitative. It feels like a really good, nice, like genuine continuation of the original song. Like honestly, just like pretty much like taking the perspective of sorrow of that previous song and applying it to future Kiryu's like situation, you know, less an idea of, oh, I'm sad about how things are turning out in the past, and more about I'm just kind of sad, you know, being in the future now, looking at it all at this moment in time. You know, there's like more reflection, more like acceptance in the song, and also just like the rhythm and like the just flow of the song's a bit different, but it sounds great. I love it. It's a fantastic addition. Yakuza 8 probably has like some of the best karaoke in the series. Like just a bunch of great tracks. Machine Gun Kiss finally comes back, and like Kiryu gets to sing it in the Dragon Engine. Like Jujing Han gets a song, which, well, it also counts as Zhao's song, I guess. I mean, Zhao gets introduced in the party first, so I guess it kind of counts more as his song. I mean, Saigo gets like a brand new song, which is more about her being edgy and whatnot. I actually didn't study the lyrics. Oh yeah, here I'm showing you all the gear and the job setups I have, just to kind of give more closure, just more explanation of how my team is pretty much like set up, just so if you actually want to give this a go, you have an idea of like what tools I was using. This is very important for these like JRPG videos, these turn-based like encounters, because like when playing this game in real time, you know, like with the real-time combat, you don't really need to do that unless I'm using a very specific item like the bloody ring or something. But this here, it's like way more important. But yeah, no, Bakadaro, fantastic. Honolulu City Lights, fantastic. That one fun song Ichiban gets, honestly, I'm just glad it's a fun song. I'm not sure if it's really my favorite. It's like the Summertime Groove song. But like it is fun that we just kind of get one song that's like pretty happy when a lot of the other songs get pretty melodramatic, especially with Bakadaro being in the list. And yes, Bakamitai is you're still able to sing it. And also, I guess while we're on this topic, I really like how Chapter 8, they just incorporate Kiryu singing and like the party actually reacting to him. Like, I mentioned it in like my main story video, but like the main cast Kiryu gets like saddled with have really good chemistry with him. Like Namba, Zhao, Sayako, Seon Hee, if that's how you say your name. And honestly, I mean, I think it's a missed opportunity that Jujing Han, like the copy of Jujing Han, which has a different name, which I forgot how to say. I don't know his different name, I just forgot it. Given the fact that like Kiryu pretty much saw the actual Jujing Han died, that would have been a really interesting drink link, but instead he just kind of gets saddled with Ichiban for a little basically like a little sitcom bit where, you know, he's like leaving because he's jealous that he doesn't get to be somewhere, and then like a subordinate of his follows him because she's jealous that she doesn't get to be somewhere, and then the fucking line of silly shenanigans continues from then on. Speaking of silly shenanigans, there's the actual story of the Big Swell, which is mostly uninteresting. I mean, honestly, like the concept of a more slice of life, like, you know, set of encounters and just like basically sub-stories is very nice and cool, and some parts of it are really fun. But I think this game, like the Big Swell, really falls into a bad habit of most of these moments just fall under like really dumb, bad anime cliches. Like, I don't know, I mean, some anime cliches are fun. They go to the beach, they do the whole little watermelon thing. But then, like, most of these just kind of, like, devolve into, when the girls are girls and when the boys are boys. Like, what if the boys went fishing, but then they fish the porn and they don't fish the fish, and then the girls get mad? Like, dude, shut the fuck up. What, am I playing Persona right now, dude? What is this doing in Yakuza? I mean, it's not like Yakuza's never been silly or whatever, but, like, this silliness is just, like, a little trite, you know? It's not like none of these Big Swell moments hit. I like the little part in the restaurant where like Jujing Han gets like mad that no one's like listening to him like explain the benefits of like their diet or whatnot. And like the little exercise they're doing like outside the restaurant, that was funny. Honestly, I kind of got a little bit of a chuckle just seeing like Andre like go to the strip club or something. Though the moment afterwards, I think was a little like forced with like I forgot her saying her name, Kei-san. Like okay, whatever. But what other moments? Oh, the little like Metal Gear Solid reference was like very fun and kooky. Like that one was like actually like very silly. So like I don't mind it too much. But yeah, also just most of the side activities, just like the girls, they do not like the boys, and the boys, they do not like the girls. Like I just feel like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, I feel there's like more interesting dynamics going on here. Like, why does it have to get like relegated to just that? And I guess there's like the hallucinations of the Big Swell. I mean, they're alright, I guess. I don't know. Aside from, like, the copy and pasted fights, which aren't too interesting. Mind you, like, I mean, I like when I'm fighting multiple boss fights. Like, I mean, this sort of setup is interesting. You know, like fighting all versions of Sawashiro at the same time. Dope. Getting to fight both final bosses at the same time. I do believe that is who we are fighting right now. Pretty much the False Priest and the Destroyer. Because in my previous video, my interpretation of Ichiban's final boss, Bryce, is that he's sort of a parody on, you know, the whole trope of JRPGs where you pretty much fight God at the end. Like a Dragon kind of takes that, allows you to do that, but like on a more grounded level. You don't literally fight God, but you pretty much fight someone who's like as close to God in that like context, right? Like pretty much this like beloved priest, this like beloved like idol. You pretty much get to fight him. So it's pretty much just like a more realistic, down-to-earth version of fighting God. That's the way I saw it. However, someone in the comments disagreed and said that it was more a direct reference to a specific Dragon Quest game where in that Dragon Quest game, you pretty much fight like a false priest of some sort who wants to like summon a destroyer. And pretty much after you beat up that priest, you then fight the destroyer, who's like this maleficent like destroyer person being God thing who wants to destroy everything. And what do you do in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth? You fight a false priest who is in contact with someone who wants to destroy the Yakuza. Like, literally, like, Ebina's like one of the most evil fucking people, like, in the series. In the sense of, like, his plan was basically just, like, the Yakuza Holocaust. Like, holy shit. He was just sending people off to this island just to get, like, tortured and, like, you know, dismantled and whatnot just because he hates the Yakuza that much. So, like, you know, I think the title of the Destroyer fits him very well, so if I have to trust that guy's word, it seems like that is a pretty direct reference to that. And it seems like the previous game, Yakuza 7, also kind of calls back to Dragon Quest in the sense that, like, the final boss of that game was the blue dragon. Like, his tattoo is like a blue dragon, and apparently in one of those Dragon Quest games, you fight a blue dragon of some sort. This is sort of headcanon-y, this is sort of, like, reaching a little bit, but it seems like enough of the pieces connect where it makes sense. And also Ichiban has a huge obsession with Dragon Quest, so like there's no way that won't get like mentioned in the main story like at any point. Like it probably does have those references and it probably does connect. It's just that me personally, I've never played Dragon Quest, so I can't really say that like I know what he's talking about, but like I can feel it, you know? I can really feel like where he's coming from, and it sounds like it all adds up. So if there's anyone who disagrees with like what he said in the comments, I guess comment on this video and just kind of discuss that. And maybe one day I will play Dragon Quest. However, I have not heard the best stuff about like the first and second Dragon Quest game. Though honestly, what I've heard of the Dragon Quest games honestly just kind of varies. Like that's probably just something I need to just go and play myself. I mean, is Dragon Quest 3 good? It seems like I think I've heard a lot of people praise Dragon Quest 3, but I don't know. I mean, if I were to play Dragon Quest, I would probably start with 11 because I've just heard a lot of fantastic things about Dragon Quest 11. Like everyone loves that game. And there's a very rare set of people who just don't. But like they're coming from a place of like they've played the other one. So like, I mean, I think I'll just hop on in with 11 at some point, though not anytime soon. I'm still just going to be playing a bunch of other games in the meantime. But yeah, no, as for the big swell, the dungeon is boring. I mean, I guess let's just move on to that. It's just more of the same. I mean, I've heard some reviews that say that like this dungeon is like a complete piece of shit and very bad. It's not that bad, but it is just kind of more of the same. So pretty much what you think, pretty much your thoughts on the Hawaiian Haunt and like the Yokohama Underground, they will be the same thoughts for the Big Swell. The Big Swell has pretty much no differences aside from like a different coat of paint. And the coat of paint just isn't all that exciting. Like, what is it with these underground environments and dungeons? Just choosing very boring situations. I mean, yeah, these games do like to be a little bit more realistic, but like, yeah, this one is probably like the most vibrant of all three of the big main grinding dungeons, but it still isn't all that. It's like a little too dark here and there. And now we have reached the Yamai and Majima boss fight, and here I just feel like they're kind of forcing the point a little bit too hard, where it's like, hey, yo, Yamai, he's just like Ichiban's Majima. Here, we're gonna literally fight Yamai and Majima at the same time. Though I can't get too mad of it. I can't get too mad at this just because getting to fight both of these guys at the exact same time, I think is a cool setup for a boss fight. Though honestly, they should have just taken it further. Like, why not just invite Daigo and Saejima along for the ride as well? Like, I don't. Okay, you know what would be crazy? You know what would be utterly insane? Like Majima, Goro, Majima, Saejima, and Dojima, and then Yamai, Dwight, and Wang To. Because, like, it's like, you know, it's like the three pillars of the Tojo clan, the three gangs of Hawaii all fighting together. Like, that would have been way cooler than just fighting Yamai Yamai and Majima, just because Yamai is like Majima, but not, you know, you know? I think I'm just... But then again, a fight like that sounds insane. Well, that's a good thing. I wish they went insane with it, though. Would it be possible to no damage? Considering I no damage Joe Amon in this game, I feel like it would have been possible to no damage. Considering that they probably wouldn't have that much health in this game specifically. I mean, you could probably just demolish them with, like, attack boost and all that. And I'm not really going into strategy too much, just because, like, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just kind of spamming summons, using substitution jutsu to switch to Ichiban so you can spam more summons. And then, you know, boosting our attack just so that we can really demolish these guys. I guess the one thing is that these enemies, these boss fights do have different weaknesses. In fact, like, the weaknesses which these guys have actually differ from, like, their actual boss fights. Because I swear, I mean, like, Yamai, the previous fight where you fought Ebina and, like, Bryce, Bryce was, like, weak to water in his actual boss fight. But then you fight him here and he's not. He resisted. And it's like, what the fuck? So they're kind of playing around, you know, with your expectations at that point. But yeah, no, so yeah, moving on. So yeah, the big swell is still really boring. Though, honestly, there is one fun thing it does. And to be fair, the other dungeons also do this fun thing, but I never mentioned it. So I'm going to mention it right now. So, like, sometimes, like, some of the random rooms you enter will have, like, a funny little joke. Like, sometimes you'll enter a room and it'll just be kind of like a chicken farm of some sort. And all the items near the chicken are, like, jumbo eggs because, you know, the chicken's giving you jumbo eggs. Or sometimes you'll enter a room and there'll just be a cow, and the item you can pick up right behind the cow might be like a ball of shit or like just fresh milk, right? In fact, one of the rooms you can go to is just like a urinal of some sort, like a urinal room, and you can just pick up like a bunch of poop in that room. By the way, when I say poop, there's a specific weapon you can make in this game, but in order to make it, you just need to collect a bunch of poop, and you just get to make a poop bat, and the poop bat, when you hit people with it, you pretty much like silence, you blind them. You blind them with the poop bat, right? Because it's like too stinky, and they go, ah, and they get blinded. You're like a skunk with a bat. So yeah, here I believe in this fight, Majima is still weak to fire. That is why I am doing this tennis move. So yeah, I am using one of the DLC classes in the DLC, like, little dungeon. I mean, hey, if you have the DLC dungeon, why not use the DLC class? I mean, I just bought the deluxe edition of this game on sale. With, like, you know, with a sale. So I was able to get it for like 60, 70 bucks or whatnot. I forgot what it was. But yeah, I got all the DLC jobs. I got all the DLC in general. Oh yeah, so yeah, what other things should I mention? I think I am losing track of what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, no, I've run out of things to talk about on my outline, and the last thing I have to talk about is related to a very specific boss fight, which is going to come later, so I'm just not going to mention it until we get to that point. So now I don't really know exactly what to talk about, but I just want to mention stuff I did not mention in my 3-hour-long, like, main story video. And I think one thing I did not mention is that most of the sub-stories in this game are super long. And this is kind of a good thing, but, like, holy hell, they're like actually really well-developed narratives, or just really long ones. I mean, maybe some people will, like, disagree with the well-developed narratives, but, like, I swear they just go on and on and on. You have to, like, go through like 8 separate encounters to, like, finish one of these stories. And at this moment in time, I haven't actually done that many of the sub-stories. That's, like, the one thing I skipped out on this game. Like, I've done 20, and to be fair, the main story also kind of, like, railroads you through, like, some mandatory ones. And those actually count towards completion, so maybe part of those 20 are just main story stuff, but I did do some stuff on the side. Okay, one sub-story thing which I did do is all of Kiryu's stuff, you know? I went to every single remembrance point because I did need to upgrade the Dragon of Dojima class. I did the entire storyline with Date-san, pretty much like taking Kiryu on like memory lane, and I just love that. That's like one of the best things about this game. One of the things which is not good about this game is just this copy and pasted squid encounter. Also, I learned that this guy actually eats you if you let him, and I got to this guy, and I just remember something I fucking hate about this DLC dungeon. So, normally, before you fight a boss fight in, say, the Hawaiian Hunt or the Yokohama Underground, there's a save point before that fight. That is not the case in this game, in, like, this DLC dungeon. In fact, like, there's like this little like area where pretty much you talk with someone to exchange items, and in the Hawaiian Hunt and the Yokohama Underground you could save in this area normally. However, that area in this DLC dungeon, you can't save in there for some fucking asinine reason. You have to exit that little area, save like right to the entrance of that area, because once you enter that area, saving is turned off. Like, what were they thinking? But yeah, no, this squid, I believe it's funny because like in the main story, the squid was actually the thing I had a harder time dealing with than the shark. But in this DLC dungeon, the squid is actually like the easier thing compared to the shark. It actually did not take me too long to pretty much figure him out. I'm pretty sure I got this guy on like my second or third try. In fact, I don't even like have to like dodge or like counter any of his moves because I kill him before he does anything. So yeah, no, pretty much I just deal the damage. However, that little substitution jutsu strategy, I do bring it back, though thankfully I don't do it like 2 times, I only do it once. So I only spend 24 turns, like, you know, pretty much building that shit up, not 48. But yeah, no, moving on to things which I like more. The thing which I do like more is that pretty much like Kiryu's like life links. First of all, I love that they brought back Taichi. Like, I mean, I love that like his inclusion in Gaiden was one of the most emotional parts in of that ending, as long as you're not playing in dub, because they fucked up his voice in dub. In fact, I love that they brought back the taxi guy from Yakuza 5. That's like one of my favorite characters. And honestly, I was just so sad that he never came back in the series, just because, like, you know, he was so warm and inviting to Kiryu, like, in his darkest moment. And then they just kind of forgot about him because he was like a side character. But no, they brought him back and he gets to have a fantastic little moment where he gets to know that Kiryu is alive. You know, like, it's just lovely. And just all the other encounters are really nice as well. Though, honestly, I can't exactly remember all of them off the top of my head. I mean, man, Akiyama gets to come back in a really cool-ass way. He pretty much just exposes them, just using a lot of, like, nice tricks and street smarts. Honestly, he kind of acts very similarly to Kuroiwa, but they kind of have, like, a similar skill set of some sort, you know? They're kind of detective-y, you know, they pretty much have, like, kung fu skills, you know what I mean? Except Akiyama, he's not dealing with the suicide of one of his students. That is the one thing Akiyama isn't dealing with. But, you know, he's dealing with a lot of grief of his own. In fact, this game kind of, like, lampshades the fact that the next Gaiden game will probably be focused on Akiyama. Because, like, Kiryu's conversation with Akiyama's all like, oh, yeah, there's this woman in Singapore that I'm following, you know. It's all very cool and stuff, you know. It could be, like, a really dope 4-chapter game, you know what I'm saying? And if that does end up happening, I am so excited for that. I am over the moon for an Akiyama game. Because the last time we played as him was like in Yakuza 5, and he got the worst boss fights in that game. And also just got gimped in general. So if we can get a game where he's not gimped and gets to do cool stuff, I will be super down for that. 100% down. That is the way to go for like a Gaiden game. If they're going to do like this series of Gaiden games. Because like, I think they've been on record saying that basically after the success of Like a Dragon Gaiden, they were thinking maybe we should do more Gaiden style games based on different characters, because there's a lot of characters in the series that have been kind of neglected and could use a more standalone story. And Akiyama just fits that bill perfectly. He's such a fantastic character that just barely got the limelight. I mean, yeah, he got to be in Yakuza 4, Yakuza 5, not playable in 6, but you got to beat the crap out of him, and he did play a part in the story in that game, but then he just kind of got thrown to the side. I mean, Yakuza 7, they just replaced his like role with just like a random rich person who is basically somewhat similar to him, except for the fact that he doesn't, you know, kick anyone, per se. I think, honestly, one of my favorite encounters, it wasn't part of like the life links, but it was like a side quest you could do with Kiryu. We got to meet up with Komaki again. Honestly, just like, I mean, getting to fight him in like turn-based combat is sick, and also just a little like goodbye gesture they do with a little fist bump. I mean, I think I shed a tear, you know, it really got to me, because there's like actual history between these characters. Like, he's been training Kiryu since like the very first game, so he's pretty much just sending him off like that. In fact, we're not at the Amon fight yet, but I think one detail I really like is just like how Amon even kind of like grieves the fact that like Kiryu has cancer, pretty much like leaving with the line that like, you know, like, we're not going to let some disease take you out. We're going to be the ones to do that, you know, because they also have history. However, that history is kind of fucked up when you use the Shin Amon model for Joe Amon. Okay, what the fuck is up with that? Because the way I saw it, I thought maybe Shin Amon just kind of took over the Joe Amon business. But then I started seeing online that people were mad that like Joe Amon has Shin Amon's model, because like apparently this is supposed to be the older Amon, but he's using Shin Amon's model. And Shin Amon is a completely different character because he's like a lot more chill and doesn't care that much about the whole thing. While Joe Amon is the one with like the emotional connections and whatnot. But they're using Shin Amon's model. Apparently all the Amons you fight in the Amon battle are all using Shin Amon's model, but like with different hair. If someone could fact check me on that, I would really appreciate that. I like that when you summon Sayama for this, it pretty much just shows her hitting nothing, because they can't exactly put the squid in this little dynamic sequence. It's too fucking big, you know? But yeah, no, little Komaki send off, like, you know, I thought it was really good. It was really well handled. And then that fucking Yakuza, like there's a few Yakuza 0 guys that come back, but I do like their inclusion. The Pocket Racer guy maybe is like a little bit much at this point, but you know what? Like, I mean, whatever. It was nice. The little Mohan Prophet guy, I really like how his story ties into like the themes of like forgiveness and like rising above rock bottom and whatnot. And pretty much like repenting for like your past crimes and whatnot. Pretty much like him becoming like an influencer that like exposes the way like cults like, you know, control people. I thought that was a really neat way to go about it. Anyways, coming up on this fight, we will be fighting a very specific bald man, which I hate, rotten man, Kiwami man. This fucking fight was harder to no damage than the entirety of the big swell. This guy was harder to no damage than any other fight in this video, except for maybe the shark. The shark was probably the hardest thing I had to fight. I fucking hate this man! Ungrateful boy! Ungrateful boy, rotten boy, Kiwami boy. But yeah, no, the reason this fight is a fucking piss take is because under normal circumstances, this guy always gets the first turn, okay? Like, see, this is like the first fight, the first super boss you get to fight when you get to the bottom, like the Yokohama Underground, and he was like, he always gets the first turn. And the move he always does in the first turn is the fucking Destructo Beam, which is impossible to dodge. Like, no matter if you if you time the perfect guard correctly with the Sea King Talisman, your other party members still get hit. So it's just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And given the fact that it's your first turn, it's the first fucking turn of the battle. It's not like you can like navigate the other party members away from the beam because he gets the first turn before you even get to move, okay? So I was just kind of like, oh, he gets the first turn because I'm under leveled, even though I was fucking level 95 when I got to him and he's level 93. So I'm like, maybe once I get to level 99, you know, like I'll actually get the first turn this time. Wrong! He fucking moves first when I'm level 99, and this bald fucker is level 96. This bald simp is level 93, and he still gets the first fucking turn when my whole party is level 99. It's a fucking piss take of a fight. So yeah, under those conditions, this is one of the hardest fucking fights in the game, and I was nearly convinced this was the only fight that would be impossible to no damage. However, it was in my anger that I realized I had a little bit of tunnel vision because I found a solution which pretty much trivializes this guy and makes him more normal. And the solution is going to Zhao's restaurant. So one arc in this game, which I do like, is that Zhao doesn't want to be part of the Yakuza anymore. He wants to be a chef. And if you go to his restaurant and eat his yummy food, you get an agility boost. And what an agility boost does in this game is pretty much like, the higher your agility, pretty much the more likely it is that it will be your turn. And you know what happens when you give your entire party an agility boost and you're level 99 and you have Ichiban as in the breaker class? I do believe I have Ichiban in the breaker class. Yes, he has the little pose, the breaker pose. When I have Ichiban at level 99 with the breaker at level 99 with equipment that boosts my evasion to the max, I have his evasion at like 412 or something, which is still not close to the highest you could get it in Yakuza 7. So like, I'm telling you, agility and evasion have been fucking nerfed in this game. But the thing is, you get that little agility stat boost before starting the fight, and you do get to go first before he does that fucking stupid beam attack, so that this bald man does not get to fucking shoot you. And I get to take advantage of that and just stun him with a stun grenade, and he does get stunned by it. Mind you, once again, if you watched my previous video, you will know that these stun grenades are random. So, you know, they could get stunned by the first one or the fifth one. So, you know, that is a little bit RNG, but the beginning of the fight is no longer RNG. But you know what actually pisses me off more about this fight? Is the fact that the Destructo B move is not the only move he does at the beginning. It's just that like 9 out of 10 times when you start this fight and he goes first, he will do the Destructo B move. However, once in every 10 times, he would do something else. And you know what I would do when he did that something else? I would fail to fucking dodge it, and then like I would have to like, you know, try the fight 10 more times in the vain hope that he won't do that fuck ass beam move, dude. I hate this guy! I hate this fucker! Ugh! But enough of this guy. I mean, I found a solution, and the solution works very well, and to pretty much walk my way back to talking about the shark, What I could have done with the shark is I probably just could have boosted my party's agility, and there could have been a different strategy that way, but given the fact that, like, with the shark, I'm pretty sure you can't stun him at all, and he's basically, like, impossible to dodge a lot of the time, it's probably better to do what I did with the shark beforehand. But with this guy, besides the fact that he gets to go first and do that fuck-ass beam move, he's mostly a bitch that you can just kind of fuck over. Because I remember this guy being a lot easier than the Michios. And once you get over the hurdle of avoiding that fuck-ass Destructo beam move, he really is easier. He is a lot easier. But yeah, and also the thing about waiting for him to do, like, if I didn't do this agility strat with, like, Zhao's restaurant, and I actually just waited, like, you know, I battled him 10 times and waited for the one time he didn't do the beam move, the thing which fucks up that strategy, I'll get really lucky here. Basically, he dies from the burn. I mean, that's a perfect way to take him out. Like, yeah, fuck you, bitch. You die from burning. Fuck off. Go get beat up by Zhao. Go get beat up by your commanding officer in your fucking anime trope move. Okay, get the fuck out of this video. Thank you. And now we actually get to fight Joe Amon, and you will notice I've changed it. You will notice that I actually set up the fight with the Joe Amon theme that plays when you fight him in Chapter 8. The reason for this is that under normal circumstances, when you fight this battle normally and you don't turn off the music and change it to something else, you instead just hear the same fucking dungeon theme that plays in every single fight of this video. That's the one thing about these, like, battles I don't like, is that they all have the same theme, and, like, I just kind of get sick of the theme. And using that theme for this, like, Amon fight was insane. I literally, when I fought these guys for the first time, I didn't know it was, like, the actual Amon fight. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, this is just kind of like a precursor to the actual insane, crazy Amon fight. You know, like, I mean, this is like the easy version, then we'll fight him again later. But no, this is the Amon fight. Like, I mean, for now, this is the main Amon fight. This is the hardest challenge of the game, per se. And it's just like, when you have that music combined with it, it's a very underwhelming experience. And, you know, it'd be one thing if they just didn't make a new Amon theme, but they did make a new theme. So they have the theme to use for this fight, and they just decided not to use it. And honestly, my first assumption is that maybe these, like, underground, like, battle super bosses are coded in such a way where if you change the song for one of the fights, you change the song for all the fights. I believe Kiwami 2 was coded in a similar fashion, where basically, like, take the Daigo fight and the Hayashi fight. They both have the same music. In fact, I complained about the Kiwami 2 fight of Hayashi basically, like, having music I didn't like as much as the original, and just having the same basic bitch theme as Daigo, and it's like, what the fuck, I want to change it. However, if you change the music for Hayashi, you also change the music for Daigo and every single other fight that uses that specific song. I believe that's how it works. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And I'm just assuming that it might be a similar case here, which sucks, because what the fuck, what do you mean the Amon fight doesn't have the Amon theme, even though you made a new theme and it's one of the best in the franchise? And I guess speaking of Amon themes, I really gotta give shoutouts to Ishin. I mean, yeah, the Amon fight in Ishin sucks, at least the main one, which, you know, not the one in the dungeons. The one in the dungeons is kind of neat, but the one which you end up fighting, like the final one, it's kind of a piss take, I'm not gonna lie. But Ishin was the first game to, like, introduce, like, a unique theme for Amon. And then, like, a unique theme, which, you know, every single new theme continues the motifs of that Ishin theme. So yeah, no, shout out to Ishin for that. You know, they're balling for that, because that's, like, one of the best new additions they did to, like, the Amon fights. Because beforehand, they would just use, like, you know, boss fight themes that appeared before, or in other moments, per se. I mean, okay, I'm actually not 100% sure about that. I think Yakuza 3 maybe had a unique theme for Amon. Like, there was this dun 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 dun, but I could have sworn that was used for something else. I don't know. Not 100% sure, because, you know, Yakuza 1 just uses, like, the basic battle theme from something else. Yakuza 2 just uses, like, the Shindo battle music for the Amon fight. The original Yakuza 2. Kenzin just uses the basic, like, battling a basic enemy battle theme, which is kind of a shame, because the Kenzin Amon is one of my favorite Amon fights of all. As for the strategy for this one, it's, I mean, basically just dealing a bunch of damage, right? You know, just, I mean, the one fucked up thing is that the only way to do, like, the friendship attack is to have Ichiban in your party. However, when you have Ichiban in your party, you can't switch out Kiryu for, like, a girl or something, so you can't do the substitution jutsu strategy. So the strategy for no damage can't be spamming substitution jutsu to get more friendship attacks. I mean, the one thing you could do is that you can maybe, like, you know, do substitution jutsus between the only 2 girls allowed in your party in order to just build up a weaker friendship attack, but then it'll be weaker and it won't deal as much damage, right? So what's the point? And if you take Ichiban out of your party and replace him with a girl, you just immediately lose access to the friendship attacks, because in order to do the friendship attacks, you need to have Ichiban in your party, because Kiryu's just not capable of, like, doing the friendship stuff, because he's like, I mean, yeah, heck, I guess he's a pretty cool friend, but he's like, he's not built like that for the big old commanding friendship attacks or whatnot. So that's something you need to watch out for. And mind you don't necessarily need to do friendship attacks, but like that's like one of the best damage dealers. It just killed all the Amons. You just saw that, right? And here I'm going to get really lucky. Honestly, during the recording, I actually did not know if I was going to win or not. Like, I was actually under the assumption that I was just going to lose. It was going to be another failed attempt. Because I was having a really hard time with this fight. But the way I beat him is insane. Like, it's just like something I did not expect to do. Like, this guy has no weaknesses, and he's resistant to a lot of stuff. So basically, like, the best way to deal with the main Amon is just beating him with stuff that he's just not resistant to. You know, stuff that deals normal damage. And I guess to wrap up a previous point before ending the video, yeah, sub-stories, like, I mean, the ones I did, there was, like, the Lemonade Kid, and that one was, like, a whole 8-part saga. There was the one about, like, the chick that was scamming the one guy. That was a huge saga. There was a really great one where they bring back the diaper guys again, but, like, for an emotional story of, like, a man trying to, like, show Snow to his, like, dying wife in her final moments. Like, I mean, honestly, I was not expecting the diaper guys to be part of, like, an emotional sub-story, but, like, I'll take it. I definitely prefer that over them just going, we are diaper men again, and it is funny. There's like more happening in that sub-story, and I thought it was a really great moment. And yeah, also the final moments of the Kiryu, like, life link with him, like, pretty much abandoning everyone again, and pretty much, like, giving his final goodbye to Date-san and saying that he was, like, actually, like, his best friend. Because, I mean, in Yakuza 5, he says some dumb shit, like, you know, we're not really friends or anything. Like, hey, shut the fuck up. Okay, so they got to be actually truthful in that moment. And he pretty much just gets to say his final goodbyes to everyone. Very emotional stuff, very well handled. Kind of something more I was expecting from 6, but you know what? 8 decided to just kind of wait a lot longer and just do that. But yeah, I defeat the Joe Amon by just doing back attacks, and then she hits him, and then when he's on the ground, the tennis player comes up and strikes that final serve. So yeah, thank you so much for watching my big Swell no damage, and I will see you all then for my next no damage video, whatever it may be. I'll be signing off.
いっぱいやりたい気分だぜ。